Grand Rising Cosmic Family, welcome back to another video on Merkaba University, where you will learn enlightenment and knowledge of self. Before we get into the video, I just want to say gratitude for joining in on the content and gratitude to all who support the content. So, last video I dropped was about the fundamentals of astrology and what the basics of astrology and what astrology really is. And this is one of many topics that I will be covering to further your consciousness on self and help you on your spiritual journey. So, to get right into it, I'm going to explain basically what zodiacs are. Not individually, I might give a few examples, but I will be touching on basically what they are and how to understand them. So, zodiacs are none other than archetypes of energies that display characteristics within this realm. So astrology is just a reflection of your inner world, and when it comes to the zodiac signs, they carry certain characteristics that are basically connected to the archetypes of these signs. And like I said in the astrology video, or the what is astrology video, I basically broke it down to where each sign rules a house, and there's 12 signs equivalent to 12 houses. So when you do your research and you discover that there are houses and whatnot, it's important to know what these signs, what signs rule what houses and what these signs are. So zodiac signs, a lot of people, they're used to knowing their sun sign for sure. And there are many of different planet placements that influence your personality. But right now we're going to talk about sun signs and just zodiac signs. Not particularly, like I said, each sign, but just the representation of what they mean. Now, this doesn't mean these signs are who you are. That's why I say don't focus on the sun sign only, because a lot of people do get a misunderstanding of astrology as something of a fairy tale or some form of a cult religion or something, but it's really just a tool, like I said. And knowing what zodiacs are will not only help you day to day with people, but it'll help you with energy surrounding yourself, such as, with work, traffic, going to the store, certain locations, whatnot, events that happen on the news, just all around different aspects and avenues of the world. So you gotta really look at the zodiac signs deeper than just personality. Okay, personality only applies to self is the embodiment of these signs, but these signs are a reflection of what self is. So it's more so just a kind of a same coin different side type of ordeal. But at the end of the day, the zodiac signs are deeper than just constellations. They're deeper than just houses. They house certain planets, and if you pay attention to just the sky at night and just read the sky, you'll see these zodiac signs form certain the planets or the stars will form certain figures which will create the zodiac sign. These will be considered constellations. Constellations are basically a group or a collective of planets and stars put together, within a certain area within the 12 regions that's divided within the sky from east to west with the horizon. All right, so you'll see that certain signs have certain planets that are unfamiliar to what you know. Like Mars, everyone knows Mars will house Aries, right? But there's other planets within that constellation that Aries deals with that you must understand too, so you can understand the zodiac on a level of you can understand it beyond this realm, for real. So, yeah, zodiac signs are key to energies that play out on this planet. You can once you understand zodiac signs, you can use them to maneuver and navigate this realm accordingly, and you won't be left astray. All right, and a lot of people only know their signs and they feel like no other signs matters. But and when you do your birth chart reading, or you pull up your birth chart, you'll see that you have pretty much damn near every sign dealing with your birth chart, whether it's planets or whether it's the houses. You're going to see each sign. So understand that each zodiac is applied to you in different aspects, and we'll get into aspects soon. I was going to drop a video on aspects, but I have to really like sit with that because it's more advanced, but I want to just get that video on a touch basis type of ordeal, so that once we get to the part where we're explaining aspects and certain planets aspecting each other and whatnot, then you'll be able to understand it already because I already broke it down. But zodiac signs, you know, they're like cosmic families that are grouped in certain areas of the night sky, and you can't just isolate one planet, one sign, one area, one region, because they sit on axes, they angle each other through aspects, and you have to actually take in consideration of these relationships, because that's what aspects are at the basis. They're just relationships of these planets and these signs. For an example, Aquarius and Leo would oppose each other, not meaning they're not meant. If anything, opposites attracts polarity. That's all that is. It's just polarity, and they might see things differently, but they'll both agree on the same topic. They'll just come at the topic in their own ways, and that's with any sign that's in that aspect of opposing. So you got to understand, these zodiacs have a relationship with one another, and they all grow from each other. The Aries has to learn a certain lesson that grows into Taurus, and Taurus has a certain lesson that grows into Gemini, and Gemini has to learn a certain lesson that grows into Cancer. So it's like each sign is karmic to the next, and it's just life lessons until you hit Pisces, and then you restart and you just level up through octaves. That's why I say you have to understand each sign, because once you know what signs you have in your birth chart, now you can start operating with the axis idea, which basically is you understanding the opposing characteristics of your natal chart, which is your domestic or your unique chart. Natal just means unique to you, is yours, just to keep it simple. So yeah, zodiac signs, they each have a planet that rules them, along with they each have a planet that rules them. So you gotta also understand that these characteristics that these signs have also share the same characteristics as certain planets. So if you see Aries is a leader, a warrior, and a person who takes action, initiative, and has a lot of aggression, then you look at Mars and be like, damn, that's the same shit Mars would be having going on. Then you have to understand that they share the same energy. So it's like, it's different levels that's broken down, and once you get to this realm, you're just experiencing it. It goes down to experience. And these elements that are connected to the signs are also connected to the planets. So if Aries is a fire sign, Mars is a fire planet. It's a fire hot ass planet. Same thing with Aquarius being an air sign. Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius, will be an air planet. It'll be a planet of air, thought and logic. And we'll get into the elements and what they mean as well. That's another lane that we'll be opening up, but right now we're focused on astrology. But I will explain them briefly within each sign so that you can understand the elements as I break each sign down. But yeah, so zodiacs, they're more, they're like principality, not principality. Well, yeah, they're allegories to certain characters as well, because if you get into the Ifa and understand Orishas, you'll see that certain zodiac signs are correlated with certain Orishas as well. So, and the same thing with like Greek mythology or Egyptian mythology, you'll see that like with Egyptian mythology, Thoth represents Mercury. So you have to kind of connect yourself on a level where you're not focused on one thing, but you have to see the grand scheme of things and just know, okay, if there's one sign doing this, there's another sign doing that. You just got to find what sign's doing what. And sometimes there's no aspects to a planet, there's no aspects to a sign, but overall, these signs are important to understand on the grand scheme before you can even say that you know astrology, because just because you know a sign don't mean you know astrology. You got to know how to implement the signs, implement the energies, because it's once again reading energy, and you can't just expect it to just work out the way you think because of logic. You know, it's not 100% logic when it comes to astrology. You have to take into account that time is only applied here. That's why these zodiac signs actually exist, because it's just another form of keeping track of energy cycles. So yeah, just to keep the video short, because I really didn't have much to say on zodiac signs. I just wanted to just make that, you know, very short, simple, and understanding. You can do more research. Like I said, I encourage you to do more research so that you understand what I'm saying, so that I'm not the only source of information when it comes to astrology, because astrology is looked at at different aspects, anciently, modern, and just futuristically. So you got to really, really understand that I might say one thing, but another person might say another, but it might mean the same. It's all about perspective. That's just so you can gain your own perspective on this. All right. But yeah, so hope this video, you know, helped you out, and it gave you some more information on zodiacs. It kind of like helped you out with just astrology, you know, on your level, because, you know, it's different levels to this shit. Everybody's at their own pace. So I kept it simple just for that fact, so that you can take what I say and just go off and research. Okay, so I'll leave as I come by saying, Grand Rising Cosmic Family, I send gratitude to the ones who tuned in. Appreciate you for supporting this lesson, and there is more to come. And, you know, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.